What's going on, everybody? Welcome to More Motorsports YouTube channel. Today I'm giving you an 8-month update on the Raptor line paint job on the blue Civic, as Matt's here.
What's up, guys?
This is his fun little project car. A lot of people said how they don't like his little hood vent, but this actually had a function and purpose more than anything. So I wanted to point that out real quick and let him kind of explain why.
So, for a long time I was having overheating issues with the car. It wouldn't overheat around town. It wouldn't overheat when I was even racing, taking it to the track, beating on it. But when I got on the freeway, just a constant speed, constant RPM, around 60 miles an hour plus, it would just slowly overheat. And it would just tick up, tick up, tick up. I tried everything, water wetter, went from a single core radiator to a dual core to a triple core radiator. I swapped over the different, radiator fluid or the coolants. I tried water wetter. I mean, I did everything I could possibly think of. And then I was like, okay, well, maybe I'm just not getting enough airflow under the hood. So that's where this came in, right? Because my thought was, as the air comes up, this is an evacuator, and the way the fins are set up, it's going to pull the air out. I was like, well, I'm out of ideas, so I'm going to try something. And so I made this and put it on there. And guess what? It didn't work. It still overheated. It was a giant pain in my butt. I couldn't figure it out. Eventually the answer was, I found a buddy of mine suggested a VW Scirocco radiator, which I did. I grabbed it, I put it in there, and that turned out to be awesome. It took a little bit of cutting, but we got it in there. And the way it sits actually looks a lot cooler now because it's like a tucked radiator. And so it sits in there and it kind of angles up and blows the air up and out of this vent. And so despite the fact that it didn't really work initially, it's pretty nice now because the radiator sits back and the fans blow it up. So the fans actually blow the air out of this.
And it is turbocharged, so we should probably tell them that.
Yeah, it is turboed.
And it ended up being like what, just a water pump or something like that.
Yeah. So it was a water pump from one of the normal stores that you would get, an aftermarket pump. Wasn't anything fancy. I just stuck it in there. I compared it, looked at it. I was like, hey, it's fine. Stuck the new one in, and after I turboed it and really started tuning on it, that's when I started getting the overheating. So eventually, after everything didn't really work, I took the water pump out and I looked at it. This is about the same time I'm doing the radiator because I was like, screw it, I'm just going to do it all. So I did the water pump too, and I actually compared, and the fins on the one that I got from the the normal parts store were I would say probably about 60% the size of the factory fins, the OEM ones. So for V16 guys, I don't know what they're making now from the parts stores, but just always go with the OEM water pump. That thing just lasts forever, and it does a perfect job. So now I don't have any overheating issues.
And it gives its own little personal touch, which a lot of people like it, but there are some that don't just because of how it looks. But he did custom make this himself. It's not like a vent for a house or anything like that.
No, yeah. I started off with a sheet of aluminum for that, and this was the second version of it I made. The first one I didn't do very well, so I just redid it.
And we did bedline this with black 2K Raptor out of the spray can, and it's held up great these 8 months. It's been outside pretty much half the time, so about 4 months outside, 4 months in the garage. And it's holding up great. He washes it, and it doesn't really get too dirty though. Like, that's the best thing about Raptor liner.
Like, you'll get mud and like dust on it in places, but then it never seems to get like really, really dirty. Anytime there's like a little bit of water on it, it washes like 90% of the dirt off. So it's really cool. And this stuff, it's so weird because like you look at it and you're like, man, that's got to be like gritty, like a sandpaper, but it's not. It's like I don't know, like kind of like lumpy snot. I don't know. I don't know.
It's smooth, but it's rough. It's hard to explain. It's one of those you'd have to feel it in person type situations.
And actually, it's funny you mentioned that. So I've actually caught people like when I'm like walking out of the gas station, to come back out to my car. I've caught people kind of like walking by, like looking at me, like and just like touching it, and all walking by. And then little kids love it. They'll walk up to it and touch it, and you're like, this is so cool.
Yeah, I don't have a problem with people touching my Raptor line jobs because I know they're durable and they're not going to scratch it up.
Oh yeah, same. It doesn't bother me at all. And actually, that ended up being like the perfect thing for this car. So, like, you have an old car like this, right? Like, how much is the car actually worth, right? So you actually put all this money and all this stuff into it, and cool, I get it. The nice shiny gloss paint jobs, they look great. But at the end of the day, like, this thing is tough. It's not going to break. And why would I spend like $3 grand on a paint job or more, 3 to 5 grand, when I can do this, you know, for a lot cheaper, and it's going to last forever, and it looks great.
It does. It looks awesome. I love seeing it coming down the road.
And it's not worth more than the car.
Right. Yeah. So like if you got a $10,000 paint job and you pull out in traffic and someone T-bones you or literally just bends your, like,
or
hits your
parking
fender
lot
or something.
Yeah.
And then well, that money's gone.
Yep.
Everyone says the solution for that is full coverage, but you still have to pay a deductible.
Oh, yeah.
So this was less than the price of a deductible.
Yeah, it was.
So
it absolutely was.
So technically this is a better option for us. That doesn't mean what we like will work for you. We're just giving you our input on it.
Yeah.
But definitely gonna give you a little walk around and show you some stuff on this for sure. We ended up later on doing some 2K clear, or 2K Raptor liner, my bad, on the mirrors and on the side trim pieces. And it came out really good. It's holding up great. Now, one thing he wanted to point out was if it was gonna have issues, it would have had it. You see this piece right here? We actually painted this with wrinkle black paint, and the weather has chipped it off, but the weather hasn't chipped it off of anywhere else. It's just that piece.
Just that one spot. The Raptor liner is holding up great. So like I said, it has been out in the sun and actually in the cold and in the rain, like, because there was a time when my garage was an absolute disaster, so I had to move this out of the garage, and I stuck it out, and it just took me a lot of time to get the garage cleaned up and get this back in there, right? So during that time, this slowly but surely started chipping away. And this is just regular spray paint. Well, it's
the wrinkle.
It's the
and that's pretty good. That's pretty tough paint.
Yeah.
So I've never had issues with wrinkle paint doing that. So that just goes to show the durability of the Raptor being a 2K Raptor.
Oh, yeah.
So it's a 2-part system. It has a hardener in it.
This stuff is so tough. And the cool thing is that I really love the color.
Yeah, in the sun, it just looks incredible.
Yeah.
Like, I wish the sun was out right now, but we had things to do, so we couldn't get it out in the sun for you guys, but we're trying to work around some pretty crazy schedules and stuff like that.
Yeah.
His schedule's got a lot crazier since his promotion, so
yeah,
a lot of things have been happening, but the taillights are slightly tinted and 2K cleared, so they have the VHT tint, very lightly tinted, and 2K on these.
And those are holding up great too.
Yeah, they look really good. But overall, the whole thing's just holding up great. If you guys want to do a Raptor line paint job, I highly recommend it because it does work. And as long as you're prepping it good and spending the time in your prep work, it'll hold up good. And it is definitely a showstopper. Everywhere you go, someone wants to talk about it.
And touch it. Yeah.
So like if you're one of those people who like the attention, oh, definitely do it, because this definitely gets attention. Now, a lot of people will say, no one likes a rough paint job, but I tell you what, at car shows and car meets and stuff like that, you pull a Raptor line paint job like this, or even my Acura TL, that thing, it is a showstopper too. Like,
absolutely.
They're just like, oh, it's a black paint job, and then they get up close and realize it's Raptor, and they're like, what the? And it'll strike up new conversations, and you get to meet new people and all kinds of stuff. So it's definitely really cool. I wanted to give you guys an update. He was talking about selling, and I'm hoping he doesn't sell it, but he's talking about it, and maybe we'll see how the comments go. You know, if everyone likes it, he'll probably keep it. But it's turbocharged. It's a B16 with a GSR transmission, LSD.
It's got the B18C1 in it. It's the short gears, so it's a 4.7 to 1 final in it. It's got the LSD in it. It's
290/85.
Yeah, 290/85. It's got the S300 management.
It's a quick car.
Internals, ported polished head, stainless steel valves. I mean, I did the suspension, tires, rims, interior. It's all done.
That's crazy.
There's not much there's little tiny things left that I'm going to kind of tweak with, but nothing else needs to be done.
Yeah, and the exhaust sounds really good. The interior is in some really good condition. Obviously, it's a little dirty, but, you know, it is driven, so
yeah, it
gets cleaned up. It's not like it's not taken care of.
I do daily this frequently.
Yeah, he dailies it, so it's a really good setup, especially for a daily. And this thing is super quick. And it actually doesn't do too bad on traction compared to my TL, but he's just got the right setup on it. And I think that's the biggest thing, is like my TL, it just wants to blow the tires off with that supercharged setup. But his will spin, don't get me wrong.
Oh, yeah.
But his hooks up way better. Trust me, we found out when we were next to each other. I'm just gonna stop while I'm ahead of myself. But his definitely pulls really hard, and it is an incredible car. I did want to show you, I did the bay on the truck, the Mazda B2300 that I have officially put the K-swap in. It is not running yet. We still have a little ways to go, but we're making progress for sure. I'm gonna show you the bay is painted green now. I didn't do video on that. I just basically moved everything out of the way and painted everything and put it all back in. But yeah, I think it looks absolutely awesome. So I'm still waiting on an intake manifold. We're gonna redo the exhaust manifold a little different than normal, but we're gonna get it all. It has an RX-8 transmission, K20 engine with an adapter plate from Collins Performance, and it's all adapted together. We're still making custom mounts. We got one mount over here, as you can kind of see, it's holding the engine in. So I gotta make one proper on that side. Don't mind all the overspray that comes right off with pressure washing. But yeah, it's looking a lot better. I still have to do another coat over the entire truck, but I just wanted to show you that in this video for the update of the Raptor line Civic. But you want to go ahead and start it up and give a little rev from the back so we can hear how it sounds. You don't have to be too rowdy, but you know.
Make sure
definitely
the parents know we're here.
right. Just to let them hear how it sounds. I really like how it sounds. It's a pretty good sound to it. Oh yeah, that sounds really good. See, the blow-off valve on this particular setup isn't a very loud one, but whenever he's taking off down the road, you can really hear it. It goes, but it sounds really good. I really like that smell of E85.
Corn-fed.
Yeah, definitely corn-fed. During the E85 shortage we had, it was hard for him to find E85.
Oh yeah.
But
I had to park it. It sucked.
yeah.
Oh, I really like it.
Yeah.
I don't know if we covered it yet, but the colors also haven't faded at all on this.
Oh yeah, the colors are not fading. A lot of people do say that the Raptor line paint fades, and I've never had an issue with that myself personally. But
yeah, no, this definitely hasn't. I don't know if you can tell on the camera or not, but like
I'll try to get closer.
I think you can, because I remember looking at the original videos and stuff for this, and the paint just is not faded at all. It looks amazing.
Yeah, and when the sun is directly on it, it sparkles like crazy. It looks so like a skateboard grip tape, but blue.
Yeah.
You know how skateboard grip tape is? It has that little sparkle in it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's really awesome.
Yeah.
I really like it. I really wish you didn't sell this thing.
It's gonna be hard. If I do, it would be really hard for me to sell it. I don't know.
Just put it at a really high price, like $10,000. So the first person with $10,000 can take it. So if no one offers you $10,000, you can't sell it. So there you go. So I think that's what we should do.
Yeah, I'm down with that.
And then if it sells for 10 grand, then you get all your 10 years worth of money back.
That's true.
Because he's had this thing, what, over 10 years now?
Yeah, so right after I got out of basic training in 2011. Beginning of 2011.
Dang.
This was the beginning of 2011 I bought this. 3 of the 4 cylinders were working. The lug nuts on the front, I bought it in outside of Atlanta, Georgia, or no, outside of Fort Benning, Georgia. The 3 of the 4 lug nuts in the front were still there. The front tire, when you go over a bump, when I first started driving it, like it would just sit there and wobble because the outer tie rod ends were just so gone. It looked like somebody had this car for years and years and years and never ever took it to a shop to fix anything. Like it was all factory stuff that had been like slowly breaking down over the years. But everything was still there. The AC worked, oddly enough.
And oh, that's the other thing on this. He has all the AC stuff with this turbo setup.
Yeah.
You want to pop the hood so they can kind of just get a general look at it. I know you had to put one of your AC lines back on or something like that.
Yeah, so actually I have one AC line. I had them custom built. One of the AC lines is a little long, so I have to get that shortened. But the other one's already hooked up. So one of them's hooked up, and the other one I've kind of covered up. But the other one will go over there.
So as you can see, it is definitely a tight squeeze, but the AC is in there.
And this is what the radiator setup we were talking about before, right? So on these EGs, right, the factory radiator goes right here.
Yep.
And initially I had the single core, and then a dual core, and then a 3-core. And then I started upgrading the fan, right, which is how I ended up with the Mishimoto.
That fan is super powerful, by the way.
It'll suck a baby through the front bumper.
Yeah, it would. So keep children away from the front bumper.
Yeah, I actually have a picture of when I was putting this setup together, because it's got the Scirocco radiator, which by the way is a dual pass.
So the Volkswagen Scirocco.
Yeah.
What year do you know?
I can't remember off the top of my head. They didn't make them for too many years though.
Yeah, that's true.
But it comes in and then goes down and then comes out, right? So it goes all the way across twice. This radiator is amazing. And then you've got in front of that I put the Integra AC condenser.
Okay.
So and that's how both of them fit under this front core support. So I forgot where I was going with that.
Well, basically, anyway, it's all in there.
It is. It's all
fits.
Shoehorned, but it turned out really, really good. Oh, and this is from a Toyota Yaris.
So yeah, that right there. So that way, on the Volkswagen Scirocco's, they don't have a top spot to put the coolant in. So he had to do this. But Toyota Yaris, guys, if anyone wants to install one of these, I might actually be installing one of these on the K-swap for the truck. So that way I can have a spot that has a bleeder, so that way I have an overflow tank, a proper overflow tank. But yeah, this thing's definitely a nice setup. Went with the gunmetal gray on the engine bay, and definitely looks good. And it's definitely a great car.
Thanks. I like it.
I really like the ride comfort. Most of these older, what year is this?
94.
94.
Mm-hmm.
So a 94. Most of these like 92 to 95 Civics, anywhere in that range, they ride kind of rough now. Like a lot of people get some really bad suspension on it, or they just won't do the maintenance right. Or they'll have it slammed, which this can go lower, but it's a good comfortable height right now. So for all the people in the comments that going, needs more low, no it don't. This thing rides great exactly how it is.
Especially the rough roads around here.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, I've been on worse, but there are some rough roads around here for sure, especially the one down by your house.
Yeah.
It's terrible. But this thing still rides really good on that. So what suspension exactly did you have?
It's ground control. So ground control coilovers with, I think they're Tokiko shocks, and they're adjustable.
Awesome.
And an adjustable ride height.
No, those have been on there for years, right?
Yeah, they have. They have actually. That's good. They're still running strong, no issues.
I like it. I mean, I'm a super big fan of this body style and gear. It's OBD1 already, so you can just throw a P28 and tune it, like, you know, whatever. So that was my favorite part about these. But yeah, this car in particular is probably one of the nicest riding ones I've ever been in, for ride comfort and power and all the above. Like, it has solid mounts, but he's went through and redone everything under the interior. So like, tell him what you did under there.
Oh, for the suspension?
No, for the sound deadening.
Oh, yeah. So I gutted the whole thing probably, well, a couple times, really. But this last time I went through and I sound deadened the whole thing. I haven't done inside the doors yet, but I don't really get a lot of sound through the doors. Like, the doors are actually pretty quiet. But I sound deadened the whole thing. And I did actually put a foam between the door panel and the actual door itself so it seals back up. Because, you know, after a lot of time, the original factory plastic kind of fades away and cracks and chips. But I put it's a fairly thin velorum foam. It's like a closed cell foam, fairly soft. And I just stuck it between the two, and that sealed everything back up on the doors. So I don't get a lot of doors, wind sound through the doors.
So what exactly, where'd you get that? Do you remember?
The foam?
Yeah.
I just ordered it offline. They use it actually for the thicker stuff. They use for like sound deadening in a house.
Okay.
But I was like, well, I'm not going to put a giant thick piece of foam in my door, so I just got a thinner piece of it, stuck it in there. I don't think it does much, with the exception of just really keeping the air out.
I could see it. I could see it doing some sound deadening, just because the bare metal won't be vibrating as much. Like, well, with the solid mounts that are in here, these are super solid. They're Hasport. What are these, like 95As? Or
I don't remember what they are.
The stiffer than the street ones.
Yeah, they're the innovative mounts. So these are the polyurethane. And I don't remember what Dura these ones are. So the front ones are the red Dura from them, and the back one's actually a black one, and it's actually a lot stiffer. Because I turned initially, first time I took it to the track, that back one, I turned it into powder.
Yeah, you destroyed that thing.
I did. Yeah, it fell apart, and I was like, man, why is my engine wiggling around so much? I get in there, and I was like, oh, great. And I just had chunks of powder and polyurethane all over the place back there. So
yeah, I mean, considering that it has those solid mounts, when I rode in this, you couldn't even tell. Because, you know, normal solid mounts in these years, every single thing vibrates.
Yeah.
I've had plenty of this year. I've had 1988 all the way to 2002 in Civics and any year between that. And they have all vibrated terribly, and it just drove me insane. But this one does not do that. It doesn't have a terrible vibration or anything.
It still vibrates more than factory.
Well, yeah, it is. It is more than factory, but when you're used to these years, everything's vibrating your skull.
Oh yeah, it's not going to shake the filling loose.
No, it's definitely a very comfortable, tolerable, with the windows up, no radio on drive.
Oh yeah.
Now, I prefer to to not have the windows up and radio on. I like to hear the sound of the engine and you know, blast some music at sometimes, you know, with his system that he has in here, which it's not anything crazy, but he did custom build a little box. But yeah, it's a really nice setup. Are these the seats you got from us?
Yeah,
that
these are
we got
Integra seats, yeah.
We went and got these from the salvage yard. These are Integra seats.
Yep, we went and re-dyed them.
Yep, he painted you did the dye paint? Yeah,
yep.
He did the dye paint. You can't tell. It feels just like stock.
Right.
You cannot tell at all. Let me see if I can get in here better for you. Yeah, it looks really good. It's very, very clean setup.
Thanks.
But yeah, I know this video is longer than all of my other ones at 22 minutes so far. But right, I don't. Most of the time I'm just to the point. You guys get the video and that's it. But this one, I feel like I need to make them a little bit longer, but it's just really hard whenever it's just me. And when I talk to myself, I feel like I'm crazy. So it's nice to actually have someone else to bounce ideas off of, which he can't always be here. So don't get used to this, but he'll try to be here as often as he can, for sure. Especially whenever we get that up and going. I'm sure we'll have some videos in that.
Yeah, have fun trying to keep me away from that. You're gonna have to give me a ride in that thing. And by the way, we're gonna have to do, you know, the same thing we did with your TL and see, you know. A trip to Mexico where we determine whose car looks better from in the rearview mirror.
Oh, there we go. Yeah. There you go. Let's do. So yeah, I'd like to do that again with the TL sometime, since I got everything kind of dialed in a little bit better. But I'm not expecting to win, and even if I did, I don't even care.
Yeah, that car
really
is
just
so nice, man.
It's a really nice ride. Both of them are, and honestly, I do this for the fun of it. I want to help you guys. Get you guys content that is actually useful, because as you've seen on YouTube, there's a lot of useless content.
Yeah.
Like, that's me being as nice as I possibly can towards these other YouTubers who work really hard at their useless content.
Yeah.
But I try to get you guys something that you can use, you can learn from, and better. Yeah, it's practical. Something you can actually do. Now, I get a lot of hate, and that's fine. You guys have your opinions about me. I'm not going to lose any sleep over it, because lions don't lose sleep over the opinions of sheep. So just remember that, guys. So I'm gonna basically just keep doing what I'm doing, and I hope you guys enjoy the videos, because I do work kind of hard on some of these. You can ask him. He's been there for some of them when I'm really working behind the scenes, and like it's not as easy as I make it look all the time.
Oh, you guys have no idea. Like, I had no idea. Like, I've done a lot of this work, right? I've done all this. Like, I've had buddies come over to the garage, you know, and we'll help out, and then we're just sitting there talking, eating pizza, doing whatever, working on this stuff, right? And yeah, it's a lot of work, but you know, it tends to go by kind of quick. Like, James, he knocks stuff out, and like, I'll go home and I'll come back, and like, the vehicle's already changed drastically by the time I come back.
Yep.
And it's because he's been sitting there working on it the entire time. He gets a lot done really fast. But you would not believe the amount of work and stuff that goes in behind it. And not just that, but then editing the videos and like making them sound good, making them look good, cutting out all the racket in the background, the multiple takes it takes to actually get you guys a good shot. Like, he spends a lot of time on his videos. Like,
I really do.
Yeah.
And I do appreciate it when people notice that, so thanks.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, it really is one of those things. I've been working really hard on it, and I feel like no one really appreciated it. Now, I do get appreciation, and I am thankful for the ones who say so. Yeah. But there's also the silent appreciators, who I don't know, and they didn't say anything. But then I get all that hate, and it's just like, it kind of counteracted all that hard work I did. But I'm starting to not care anymore, you know? Like, I'm just gonna keep doing what I'm doing and providing the best content I can for you guys. I'm not like all the other YouTubers. I don't have infinite funds to go out and buy tanks and blow cars up or whatever they're doing. Yes.
I still think it's gonna happen.
Okay, well, that would be fun.
When it does, yes, let's go blow shit up.
Okay, for sure. But yeah, I mean, I'm just doing what I am. I'm a normal guy. I'm struggling to pay bills just like everybody else. I'm not out here with, like I said, without, you know, I don't have infinite funds. I'm just trying to make content that you guys can use. I know a lot of people like the DIY, do it themselves, and this stuff kind of really helps. And doing it the Raptor line route, I got a lot of criticism, but that was at first. Now people are starting to kind of to understand like why I did it. It's more practical for real use, like especially like on the work truck. I should have Raptor lined it, but I went with the paint because the Raptor line is more durable, and that's going to be a work truck. I'm also going to be playing a lot in it. It's probably going to get messed up, this paint job on the green, but you know what, this is more practical. And who knows, maybe in the future I'll do the lime green in Raptor line, but like for right now, it's just I'm gonna get it 2K cleared, make it nice, and yeah, I'm gonna get you guys videos the best I can. It's really hard with the local Karens complaining. You know, every time I do anything, they're watching me and reporting me to the city. And
it's amazing how much the city can sit there and gripe and nitpick about things, but then you go driving around on the roads around here and they're pretty garbage. It's like, why don't you spend your money and your time taking care of your roads instead of
fix your roads instead of someone who's not harming anybody.
Yeah, because I'm not doing nothing. Keeping their house and their yard and everything like nice and clean.
Yeah, I've been doing been keeping up on everything. I pay my taxes. I don't have vehicles without registration or nothing. I mean, I'm doing what I can. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I know we've been kind of rambling on, but I hope you guys enjoy that kind of thing because, you know, that's how we go. Like when we get to talking, we'll be talking about God here in about 2 seconds, and then then my channel's going to be demonetized because I praise Jesus in front of people. So, you know, it's one of those things that we'll keep going if I don't stop this now. So I greatly appreciate you guys checking in, hitting that like button, dropping a comment below, share the videos around. It really helps tremendously. You can ask this guy, he's seen the analytics of how things work. It helps tremendously when you guys share and interact. So I appreciate each and every one of you. If you guys don't like what I have to say, that's totally fine. You're entitled to your wrong opinion. Or I mean your opinion, my bad. You're entitled to your opinion. Just keep doing you, I'm gonna keep doing me, and we're gonna keep this thing going. So I appreciate you guys checking in, and as a lot of you already know, as I like to say, God bless, stay safe, stay awesome.